Hello, my friends. Our topic is astrological compatibility using vibrational astrology. So the idea of vibrational astrology is that there are many vibrations that connect people. You could be connected on a 7 vibration, deep and soulful, 9, friendly, supportive, 11, restless, dynamic, 13, the feeling that your partner is the special person for you, like it's a fate or destiny or special blessing. And the planets involved make all the difference in the world. So we're going to learn in this video a very clear and direct way to see some of the important ways in which people are bonded together. And there are some other techniques I'm going to show in other videos, but this is an important one. And it's especially important because we've done research which shows that the usual ideas that we use in compatibility don't work very well. In fact, even I was surprised at how poorly they worked. I thought, for example, that husbands and wives would be drawn to each other if they're in the same element. Sun, moon, rising is earth. It'll be drawn to earth. Or maybe earth to water or something. Or maybe it complements some elemental thing. We did very extensive research, could find nothing. We could find very, very little, almost nothing related to the usual aspects, conjunction, opposition, square, trine, sextile. So is there anything drawing people together? We had nearly 21,000 charts that we compared, and we continue to compare this huge database of people with times from a birth certificate to see what is drawing people together to get married. And we're finding it. We are finding it. It's very exciting. It's none of the things that are commonly used. There are certain kinds of frequencies that do draw people together, like 7, a soulful connection, like 13, something special, like 55, this exciting, exuberant feeling. There are vibrations that draw people together, and we're going to learn an additional thing in this video. And I'm going to take you through it step by step to see how people are bonded together. Now, suppose you have a romantic couple. What is the kind of romance? What is the attraction between the people? Is it a dreamy romance, walking on the beach under the moonlight and the stars, having flowers and candles, some kind of romantic Venus-Neptune? Is it a very physically passionate Venus-Mars? Is sparks flying, love at first sight, boom, music, dance, high sexual excitability, Venus-Uranus? Is there a sense of dedication, deep connection, understanding people at the heart and core, Venus-Saturn? Do you just feel happy when you're with this person? You tend to laugh. You tend to let your worries go to the side. You tend to meet with other people, sociable, good times, laughing, Venus-Jupiter. And it gets more detailed than that, depending on the vibration. So we're going to look at a famous couple, and we're going to analyze one particular area that's important in a lot of relationships, and we'll see how it works. It's fascinating. This may take some time. I may end up having to do a series of 2 videos. We'll see. There's a lot we're going to cover with this one technique. So what I'm saying is, suppose you have 2 people and they're drawn to each other. Over time, what is the quality going to be? Dreamy romance, physical, and according to vibration, more details. So here's how you do it. There are other techniques I'm going to show you, but this technique is powerful. Number 1, you look at what's called the harmonic aspect grid. I'll show you an example of it. What this does is it shows you the vibration that you are on. Let me talk about, say, you. Suppose you have a romantic partner. We're going to see what vibration you are on. We'll see what vibration these planets are in So number one, look at the harmonic aspect grid. Number two, see what vibration the planets are in. For example, Venus-Uranus. If you want to know if there's a spark, if there's this sizzle, if there's this potential for excitement, well, you may already have a good sense of where there is or not, but the astrology is going to really make it extremely clear. Is it just a temporary transit thing? Is it really in the charts? What's going on? It's going to show it. If sparks are flying, you can look at Venus-Uranus in your chart, see what vibration it's on, and then the third thing is see if the other person connects with those planets in that vibration. All right, I'm going to take you through this. But again, let me repeat the concept. We'll look at your Venus-Uranus, see what makes sparks fly for you, and then see if you're on the same wavelength with another person for the vibration that your excitability, your Venus-Uranus is in. It's going to become clearer as we do it. Okay, step one, we look at the harmonic aspect grid. So in the Sirius software, you click on listings, you select harmonic list / grid, and then there's two menu items. You select harmonic aspect grid. So before we do the comparison, we want to see who the individuals are. Before we can compare, it's not always a trine or a sextile or a conjunction or an opposition. More likely, it's what vibration you're on. Does the other person get on the same wavelength with you? So we got to look at the individual charts to see what vibration you're on. Then we see how they connect. So we go to your chart, click on these menu items, select the harmonic aspect grid. Then a menu pops up, asks what the highest harmonic is. I recommend going up to 360. So you get a lot of vibrations to look at. It asks for the orb. Now the orb that we use in vibrational astrology is very large. It's 16 degrees. But what you're going to do in this analysis is go down to 4 degrees. That's not a sacred number. You could set it to 2, 3, 6, but 4 is good. What this means is you're going to see only the super strong vibrations of the planets that you're interested in. Because if you do not connect with the other person on the vibration that you are super strong in, you don't have that power. You don't have that pizzazz. You don't have that boom that you could have with someone else. So we want to see, is there something really powerful going on to make it a special relationship? Bring the orb down to 4 degrees, go up to 360 to see what the really hot vibrations are. Then you click on OK, and you'll get this very large table. Now, you can take each one of those pairs, Moon, Venus with anything. Moon, Venus, I don't think I had Moon, Venus on that other slide, but Moon, Venus would be a deep, more sentimental connection. Moon, Venus, Venus, Mars, Venus, Jupiter, Venus, Saturn, Venus, Uranus, Venus, Neptune, or Venus, Pluto for a compulsive relationship. Even Mercury, Venus for being able to talk nicely. So very important in marriage relationships are all these connections. Venus-Uranus is especially important, at least in modern Western marriages, for example, and romantic relationships. Is there that spark? Is there that boom? Is there that excitement? Can that be sustained? So different people want different things, but we can look at Venus-Uranus. What do you want? Maybe you're more interested in Venus-Neptune. But I decided to look at a famous couple, Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson. They've been married for decades, very stable relationship. It seems to be a very positive marriage. They've had, I think, 2 children. Let's look at them. Something's working right. They've stayed together, seem to be happy with each other. Among Hollywood couples, there seems to be very few. They are one of the few couples that seems to have a positive, healthy relationship. Let's see if they've got some sizzle. Do they have some excitement? some music, dance, sexual excitement. Do they have it? So what we have here is Tom Hanks, and I put in a yellow box here highlighted, the Venus-Uranus vibrations. There's more than one. And at the bottom is the strength. So it's telling me that Tom Hanks has Venus and Uranus. This is the angular distance, which I don't really care about, 38 degrees, 49 minutes. It's 11 100seconds of a circle. Exactly. It has 85% strength. It's the strongest. Tom Hanks' Venus-Uranus is vibrating to 102. Now, if you're new to vibrational astrology, this sounds weird and wild and different, but it works. This is a huge breakthrough for astrology. Tom Hanks' Venus-Uranus is vibrating at 102. You can imagine like a note, like that, whatever note that would be. The Venus-Uranus is doing that. If he meets a lady and her planets connect to his Venus-Uranus at that wavelength, boom, you have instant connection. If her Venus, her Uranus, or her Mars, even her Sun or Moon, any planet comes into his Venus-Uranus, then there's the connection. You're on the same wavelength. It's that simple. All you have to do is see what vibration you're on. For that quality, you can look at your Venus-Neptune. What is your romantic vibe? How do you become romantic and dreamy? How do you become Venus-Uranus excitable? Everybody does it differently, and they connect in different ways. And when you connect with someone whose planets come into your vibration, that's where the chemistry happens. That's where the special bonding can happen. So if you want to see if your partner is a person that you can have this excitement with, this always being in love feeling, see if their planets connect to your Venus-Uranus, and preferably both ways. If it goes both ways, you're vibrating in their Venus-Uranus, they are vibrating into your Venus-Uranus, then you have, you might say, a kind of mutual inspiration and satisfaction potential. Now, people don't always realize their highest potential. They can start arguing, they can have differences, they can have all kinds of problems that make it difficult. But I'll tell you this, if you don't have that connection on that vibration, there's no potential. It's not going anywhere. Most people are just not that romantically attracted to each other. It just isn't there. The spark isn't there. The magic isn't there. You've got to have the potential for anything to happen. Otherwise, it's just not going to happen. So if you can have a marriage without Venus-Uranus emphasis. You might have Venus-Mars. You might have Venus-Neptune. But if you want to know if the Venus-Uranus potential is there, this is how you can find out. So, Tom Hanks is married to Rita Wilson for a long time. Let's see if her planets come into his Venus-Uranus, and then we're going to do the reverse. Find out what her Venus-Uranus vibe is and see if he can easily connect and get on the same wavelength with her Venus-Uranus. So this Venus-Uranus 102 vibration means the denominator. It's an 102. That's the big number. The top number, the numerator is not as important. 102 equals 17 times 6. Well, 6 is just a basic overtone. 6 means sextile. Makes things flow smoothly together. The basic fundamental prime number here is 17. In fact, if we look at Tom Hanks' 17 vibration chart, Venus and Uranus will be sextile, and they will be almost exactly sextile. Because this is 85% strong of an orb that's already small. So it's going to be very, very tight. So when you see 6, that means sextile in the 17 vibration chart. And here it is. Here is the 17 vibration chart for Tom Hanks. also, as you know, known as a harmonic chart. You just bring it up into software. And there's the Venus at 28 Aquarius 13, Uranus 28 Sag 07. Crazy strong. I mean, an orb of 6 minutes. Extraordinarily strong. And what we're going to do is we're going to see if Rita Wilson, we're going to see if her 17 vibration chart has something at about 28 degrees to connect. If she does, bam, we've got the potential for that falling in love, for that excitability, for, just that feel like all excited and you want to sing and dance and makes for sexual excitement. If she has a planet that connects into his Venus-Uranus. Now, when we look at his chart, oh my gosh, it's not just Venus-Uranus. His sun is coming in, and Mars. It's a kite. A grand trine with Venus coming in here, opposition, probably all of you know. It's called a kite pattern. It's very, very tight. Mars is at almost 25 degrees, so it's spreading from 25 to 28 degrees. This is even bigger than we thought from just looking at the aspect grid. When you see something like this, the romantic partner, in this case Rita Wilson, I hope and pray that she has at least one planet coming into this. Because, it could be conjunct the Venus or conjunct Uranus or Sun or Mars. Just come into it somehow, or make another sextile point. This is like a 6-pointed star. One of these other points that would be, 26 or 27 degrees of Libra over here in between these two, or over here 26 to 27 degrees Gemini. There's a lot of points. Actually, 26, 27, even 28, 25 to 28 degrees of any fire or air sign is going to bring you into it. If she has 2 planets there, even better. And if she has the same planet, I mean her Venus or her Sun or her Uranus or her Mars, that will be the best. Same planet to same planet. By chance is a fairly reasonable possibility. She will have one, maybe her Jupiter or Saturn or something. So that would be nice. If there's nothing, we've got real problems. If you have one planet, okay, something's going on. 2 planets, we're good. You want the person to be really connected. If you're getting like 3 planets and there's like same planets, oh my God, fantastic. You got the idea? It's simple. Simple, simple, simple. Let me repeat the idea. Tom Hanks, his romantic excitability is a sextile in 17 vibration. I can tell you what that means. We'll talk about it later, but basically it means he's sensitive. He's, you might say, somewhat flexible. He can adapt to different kinds of music and dance, and very sensitive in romance and sexuality. And so his son, this is how he functions. Does she come into his world? And then we're going to see if he comes into her world. So this is really exciting to come in here and see how there is this tapestry of vibrations, whether we like it or not, whether we want astrology to work this way or not. We have repeated research, even hypothesis tests with the bipolar disorder and other research working with our clients. This is the way astrology works. Maybe it works in other ways as well, but this is very strongly evidence-based. So here it is. Drum roll. This is so important when I'm looking at a chart. I have in the inner ring Tom Hanks 17 vibration. There it is. We just saw it. There's his Venus, Mars, Sun, Uranus. I put Saturn in here. I didn't show that in the previous slide, but Saturn's in here weekly. It's where the Sun, So Saturn comes in a little bit. I didn't even draw it in. But when we do the compatibility, we see that the Saturn gets emphasized in the compatibility. So there's actually 4 main planets and then Saturn a little bit up here at 0. A little bit because it's only an orb to squaring Saturn. It's not an orb to sextiling Sun or Mars, so it comes in weakly with the square to Venus. Excuse me. Weakly because it's only aspecting one of the other 4 planets. The other 4 are all in orb to each other. Rock solid pattern. Now, in the outer ring is Rita Wilson's 17 vibe. Same vibe to same vibe. No natal chart. Her 17 frequency, his 17 frequency, do they connect? Look at her sun. Her sun is on his sun. Wow! It's at 25 degrees. We want 25 to 28 degrees. Sun conjunct Sun with, that's a slightly less than 2 degree orb. That is fantastic. Same planet to same planet. It's coming in. That's great. It's only one planet, however. Is there another planet? Her Saturn is at 28 degrees, very tightly opposition his Venus. So she has a Sun-Saturn trine at 25.5 Aries, early 28 degrees Leo, a little under a 3 degree orb, which is within orb. We allow a 5 degree orb for trines in vibrational astrology. Her Sun-Saturn trine is sitting on his Sun-Mars trine. And this is why I put his Saturn in here, a Saturn-Saturn square. So her Saturn is involved in this whole configuration. In fact, it's very tightly trine his Uranus, very tightly opposite his Venus, tightly trine his Sun, conjunct his Mars, and square his Saturn. We have a Sun to Sun and a Saturn to Saturn. Suns are conjunct. Tom and Rita's suns are conjunct. Tom and Rita's Saturns are square. Any aspect, any part of this configuration, and it's just sitting right on the pattern. Now you might say Saturn's the great malefic, it's going to make it dry. No, in vibrational astrology it doesn't. Saturn just makes things serious. It's that Venus-Saturn we talked about. They've got the Venus-Saturn. Her Saturn, meaning the potential to get serious about this, not a one-night stand kind of thing. Any connection is better than no connection, and same planet to same planet is the best. We have a Sun-Sun and a Saturn-Saturn, so this is already great, and her Jupiter's here as well. So she's got Jupiter square Saturn, she has Sun trine Saturn, her Jupiter's sitting on his Saturn, so her Jupiter's getting involved in this T-square, square his Venus, out of orb to his Mars. It's aspecting his Saturn and his Venus. Sometimes not all planets are within orb. This is great. This is really great. We have 3 planets, 2 same planets, Sun, Sun, Saturn, Saturn. And then there's some other little things. Her Uranus, up here at 26 Pisces, is square his Uranus. It's getting involved a little bit. It's aspecting some of the planets. So her Uranus is getting a little bit involved, and there's a 3rd same planet. So we have Sun, Sun, Saturn, Saturn, Uranus, Uranus. The main thing is this. You don't want to get lost in the trees. Let's talk about the forest. What are we talking about? We're talking about she has Sun, Jupiter, and Saturn sitting right on 3 of his planets. Just, they're there. And then you might notice other planets at 25 to 28. Uranus comes in a little bit. I say a little bit. It squares his Uranus. It may be making some other aspects. It looks like Pisces. It's, what's going on here? Oh, no, it's not. Yes, it is. 28 Sag, 28 Pisces. It's sextile his Saturn. So it's making a few little aspects. just adds a little bit more. Is this good? Is this, how would you scale? Is this an A, excellent, B, very good, C, fair, D, poor, F, terrible? I would give it an A, maybe an A minus. It's really good. You got the idea, right? You got the idea for the criteria for how this works. Okay, because the kite in Tom's chart includes a grand trine, we can go to the next step. Okay, what else can we do with this? We can triple the vibration. Remember that the aspect grid, let's go back to the aspect grid, it said 17 times 6. If we go to 17 times 3, it brings us closer to the 102 vibration. Here's why we want to do this. If we're in 17 vibration, as we are here, Venus and Uranus are sextile. It's a 17 vibration times 6 means sextile. If I triple the vibration, the sextile, which is 60 degrees, it becomes tripled. 60 times 3 is 180. It becomes an opposition. Very often we want to turn the planets into a conjunction or opposition. We want to go to an overtone, to raise it up, to align them, to put them on a line, either conjunct or opposition. Okay, let me explain it this way. Some of you already know this, but if it's new to you, maybe I'm making this sound too complicated. Here's the idea. Let me take it from the beginning. Tom Hanks has a 17 times 6 vibration of his Venus-Uranus. This means that in 17 vibration, they're sextile. In 102 vibration, they're conjunct. Because in that vibration means if you go to that vibration, they're conjunct. If I go somewhere in between, like 17 times 3, that would be 17 times 3 times 2. So in the 17 times 3 vibration, there's a 2 left, which means opposition. So as you go up closer to the actual vibration, the aspect becomes simpler and simpler. If you go all the way up to 102, it's a conjunction. So it's tempting here to go to the 17 times 3 because that's going to turn Tom's grand trine into 3 planets that are conjunct opposition Venus. You don't even have to think through all that technical detail. You can just think whenever you see a trine, triple. That's simple. You see a trine aspect, triple it, it will turn them into conjunctions. That simplifies it and shows a finer level. This is a fractal reality. We're seeing the 17 connection. Beautiful. Now it's like branching out into the branches of the tree. And we triple. Why do we triple? Because there are all these trines and sextiles. We'll triple it, and then we'll see if there's also fine connections between them. This vibrational astrology is like studying music or something. We're seeing the music of the spheres. We're seeing how Tom Hanks is in a 17 vibe. His romantic energy, his Venus, Uranus, Mars, and his Sun are in this. And now we're going to look at the overtones. And it's very simple. You see trines, triple it. So the next thing we're going to do, okay, we already looked at this slide. This is the slide I want to, we're going to triple and we're going to compare 51 vibe to 51. We've already compared 17 to 17. Excellent. Wonderful. Let's see if there's some nice subtle overtones, because these overtones are actually not subtle. They're extremely powerful. This is what we've seen in our research, is that when you get those overtones, and the natural overtone of a trine is to triple. So, whoops, I'm going the wrong way. When you see these trines, you want to triple. So let's see if they connect on 51. We're going to stop here, and we're going to have a part 2 in this on this compatibility technique. So to summarize our conclusion from part 1, Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson, beautiful connection on 17 vibe. Now we're going to look at the overtone. In part 2, we're going to look at the overtone of the 51 vibe and see if they're connected there. Because if they are, this means this 17 vibe is just beautiful. It's rich. It's just marvelous. There's an elegance in the universe. It's like looking at beautiful mandalas. And when the mandalas are beautifully created, there's beautiful energy between the people. This is what we're doing in vibrational astrology. Okay, so let's stop here, and then we'll do part 2, and we'll look at their 51 vibe connection, see if that's good. I'm doing this in detail so that you can do it with your romantic partners, or you have a client. You can say, okay, do you have the spark? Go to the aspect grid, see what the vibration is, and then compare to the other person. And then if you want to go really deep and to understand all of it, if you see a potential overtone, go to the overtone. And that's what we'll do next. Okay, thank you very much for listening, my friends. I will see you in part 2. God bless. Namaste.